Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Michael Dehn. I'm the Managing Director of Messe Frankfurt, South Africa. And I would like to welcome you this morning in the beautiful city of Cape Town, the proud host city of Solar Power Africa 2024. As we gather here at the CTICC2, we are going to have an exciting debate towards empowering Africa's energy future through innovative solar and storage solutions. It is my profound honor to open this event, organized by Messe Frankfurt South Africa, in partnership with RE Plus Events, and all of our esteemed partners and supporters. The conference is a testament to the collaborative spirit that drives our mission for sustainable development across the continent. Our theme, Empowering Africa's Energy Future, Solar and Storage Solutions for Sustainable Development, it's not just a statement, it's a call to action. It reflects our collective ambition to develop real solutions between the public and private networks that are present at this event. We are privileged to have among us some of the leading experts in the field of renewable energy. Their insights will guide our understanding of the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. If there's one thing that I would like to leave you with this morning, it is this: thinking about the thing isn't doing the thing. Talking about the thing is also not doing the thing. So I wish everyone in the room that you will be able to achieve tangible outcomes that lead to actually doing the thing, so a year from now we can look back at the results. Before we proceed to the keynote address, I would like to take a moment to thank our vast number of entities that have supported this event, either by investing time, goodwill, or financial resources. I would like to start with the DMRE, the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy. Your continuous guidance over the year has been an important contribution to this event. I would like to thank our host city, the city of Cape Town. Your support is valued at many dimensions. For once, you support the solar industry with your initiatives. You support this event that as we hosted in Cape Town, but you also show up and are part of the debate, which enriches the experiences for all attendees. Thank you for that. We would also like to thank SAISA, the Storage Association, for their input in the conference program. We would like to thank AFSIA, the African Solar Industry Association, for their dynamic support. We thank the Circular Energy Association and Green Cape for their continued support. And our partner from the US, RE Plus Events, for their international solar experience and expertise. And last but not least, of course, our fantastic team who continue to grow and nurture this event. And finally, I would like to give our many sponsors, all of our exhibitors and delegates, our speakers, visitors, and the supporters, our gratitude for their support. So thank you for that. It is now my great pleasure to introduce to you our keynote speaker, Ms. Bertha Dlamini. She is the founding president of African Women in Energy and Power, an organization she founded to accelerate the participation of African women entrepreneurs in the full value chains of power and energy in Africa, and to contribute towards addressing the continent's energy poverty. Ms. Dlamini is a highly rated and trusted industry player in South Africa's energy sector. She serves on the executive committee of BRICS Women Business from 2020 until January 2023. She holds a number of industry roles and has been awarded with countless industry recognitions. Please put your hands together for Ms. Bertha Dlamini.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am very honored to deliver this keynote address this morning. All the dignitaries and the distinguished guests have already been acknowledged. I am grateful for the organizers for the opportunity to spend time with industry leaders reflecting on the developments of renewable energy, not only in South Africa, on the continent. I'm going to share with you perspectives and views from within the continent, as this is Solar Power Africa. In the spirit of togetherness, I take this opportunity to pass heartfelt condolences to President Hage Geingob, the president of Namibia, who passed on this week. I read that he was an early visionary and supporter of solar projects that aimed to bring thousands of megawatts of solar power to Southern Africa. Blessed sympathies to his family and the people of Namibia. There's a statement that was a typical answer at beauty pageants. When the people were asked, or the beautiful ladies were asked, what would you like to achieve? They said, world peace. Over a period of time, that statement was mocked. We stand here today hungry for world peace. I wish wisdom prevails across the globe for world peace. I also pass my deepest sympathies to countries and families that continue to lose their loved ones during these chaotic times. This year, 18 African countries will head to the polls for different types of governance elections. I implore that we all take responsibility to vote seriously and show up at the polls to make our choices. The following countries will be at the polls: South Africa, Madagascar, Mauritania, Rwanda, Mozambique, Somaliland, Ghana, Chad, Botswana, Tunisia, Guinea-Bissau, Namibia, South Sudan, Senegal, Cabo Verde, Mali, Mauritius, Algeria. Without this responsible action, it will be impossible to participate and realize the just transition across all our economies. It will be impossible to create a supportive policy framework required to stimulate the just energy transition. So let us all do the right thing and honor the right to vote. I also wish all the semi-finalist players at the African Cup of Nations great games, and may the best African team win. The theme for this conference is Empowering Africa's Energy Future, Solar and Storage Solutions for Sustainable Development. For us to understand the vast opportunities that will emerge as Africa pursues innovative solar solutions and storage solutions, let us reflect on the global context. According to the renewables analysis and focus to 2028 by the International Energy Agency, published in 2023, solar power experienced an exponential growth led by China. Global annual renewable capacity additions increased by almost 50% to nearly 510 gigawatts in 2023, the fastest growth rate in the past 2 decades. While the increases in renewable capacity in Europe, in the United States, and Brazil hit an all-time high, China's acceleration was extraordinary. In 2023, China commissioned as much solar PV as the entire world did in 2022. While its wind additions also grew by 66% year on year. Globally, solar PV alone accounted for 3/4 of renewable energy capacity additions worldwide. It is quite clear that the world is on a course to add more renewable capacity in the next 5 years than has been installed since the first commercial renewable energy power plant, which was built more than 100 years ago. It truly tells you that we are in an era of rapid change. China accounts for almost 60% of new renewable capacity that is expected to become operational globally by 2028. Prices also plummeted. In 2023, spot prices for solar PV modules declined by almost 50% year on year, with manufacturing capacity reaching 3 times the levels of 2021. The current manufacturing capacity under construction indicates that the global supply of solar PV will reach 1,100 gigawatts at the end of 2024, with the potential output expected to be 3 times the current forecast for demand. Of course, emerging geopolitical developments have indeed had an impact on the accelerated rate of renewable energy growth, with some countries stalling and revising their position on renewable energy. Nonetheless, the growth of renewables is a force to reckon with. At COP28, a couple of 3 months ago, more than 100 countries at the climate summit in Dubai agreed to triple renewable energy capacity by 2030. I beg your pardon. Let's look at some interesting forecasts from the International Energy Agency. In 2024, they forecast that wind and solar PV together will generate more electricity than hydropower. In 2025, renewables will surpass coal to become the largest source of electricity generation. Wind and solar PV will each surpass nuclear electricity generation in 2025 and 2026, respectively. In 2028, renewable energy sources will account for over 42% of global electricity generation, with the share of wind and solar PV doubling to 25%. That is the global scale of opportunity. That is the global canvas upon which we can look for innovations that can be brought to the continent, where we can collaborate with leaders. But let's look at what Africa has to give as we are at the Solar Power Africa conference. Africa is hugely endowed with energy resources, both renewable and non-renewable. Sub-Saharan Africa as a region has enough resources to meet its future energy demand. According to the Africa Solar Industry Association, the capacity installed in 2023 alone represents 31% of all solar PV capacity added since 2010. Just in 2023 alone. In the same report, there's a very interesting article, if you have the time to study that report, that illustrates that post-COVID-19 prices decreases were attributed to technology improvements mainly, and have radically changed the solar energy game in Africa. The combination of low-cost solar PV and the falling prices of battery energy storage systems will unlock Africa's solar future, especially as the trend for competitively priced battery storage systems continues. Mr. Galo Montmaison-Clare, the facilitator of the South African Renewable Energy Master Plan, shared some inspiring insights on his LinkedIn post, and I would encourage you to follow him if you're not following him yet, which I have extrapolated and applied to an African context because it gives an interesting picture. He says energy transition offers us a once-in-a-century potential for Africa to reindustrialize. For the continent to realize this, we need to generate anchor demand as a region, not as isolated markets. And I read this as follows: the anxiety around South Africa generating anchor demand shouldn't actually preoccupy us. We have to think regionally, and we have to think how we can create anchor demand within the region and beyond. The Southern African power pool is the most advanced and connected power pool on the continent. Other power pools are in different stages of development. Individual countries do not have large energy systems to warrant local manufacturing facilities. Countries also do not have the intellectual property for renewable energy technology, or they are in varying stages of IP development. However, all countries have ample raw materials to contribute to the value chains of solar PV solutions and battery energy storage systems. As regions, not as singular countries, as regions, the countries together command sufficient demand capacity to warrant local manufacturing capacity for different components in those value chains. Thus, we must rethink where anchor demand for renewable energy components will come from, not from single markets, but from regions. Africa has 60% of the world's best solar resources, but only 1% of current solar generation capacity. A report published in 2017 by Oxfam, and I must remember their name, their abbreviation is RAEL, Renewable Energy and Appropriate Lab, something like that. But they published a study in 2017 that said the technical potential for the continent for renewable energy is estimated at plus minus 11,000 gigawatts. Solar potential estimated at 10,000 gigawatts. Coincidentally, it is also estimated that if the globe follows the COP28 call to triple renewable energy by 2030, it would generate 11,000 gigawatts in 6 years. Some say this is a complex challenge to achieve across the world, but it is worth exploring where Africa stands. Africa is the fastest urbanizing region on the planet. And we are experiencing how this is placing strain on existing infrastructure, particularly in the transportation and energy sectors. But Africa also has an opportunity to improve economic and environmental and social conditions by becoming a meaningful player in the emerging electric vehicle market. The African Single Electricity Market Master Plan that's contemplated by all African power pools will be the world's largest continent-wide energy trading program. The world's largest. These are the opportunities that exist on the continent. The African Continental Free Trade Agreement is the world's largest free trade area by a number of countries. Last week, President Ramaphosa stamped the Certificate of Origin, certifying South Africa's content in products to be shipped to Ghana. This is intra-Africa trade becoming a reality. And therefore, I reflect back to when we contemplate where anchor demand will come from for products and components across the value chains of energy storage and solar systems. It will not come from a single country. It will come from the region because the policy framework is in place. Those that attended the earlier session would know I shared the following highlights about South Africa. So to honor the hosting country for this conference, let's put a spotlight on developments in our domestic market. In the second quarter of 2023, South Africa imported over $1.7 billion worth of solar panels, inverters, and lithium-ion battery systems, indicating a substantial demand for renewable energy technologies. Again, I apologize for those who were in the earlier session. Some of the stats you will be hearing for the second time. But for the benefits of those who are joining, I am going to gladly repeat. I represent the sun, after all. The National Energy Regulator of South Africa registered 4.5 gigawatts of private energy projects in 2023, highlighting the rapid expansion of renewable energy capacity. By the end of 2023, South Africa had 11.5 gigawatts of renewable energy capacity installed, with 6.3 gigawatts attributed to utility-scale generation through the REIP program, the Renewable Energy Independent Power Producer Procurement Program. 5.2 gigawatts from private solar systems of all sizes. This marked a doubling of the installed capacity compared to the previous year, being 2022. 405 projects were registered in total during 2023. including large-scale projects exceeding 100 megawatts in capacity, indicating a growing interest and investment in renewable energy development in our domestic market. Most of these projects are small-scale embedded generation, predominantly based on solar PV systems, highlighting the popularity of distributed energy generation solutions. And there is literature already coming up through research that the continent will have more and more distributed energy solutions. Solar PV dominated the renewable energy landscape in 2023, accounting for 61% of the total installed capacity, followed by wind energy at 37%. The emergence of large, greater than 100 megawatt wind projects contributed to the greater share of wind power compared to the previous year, being 2022. Provincially, the Northern Cape led in renewable energy capacity in 2023, followed by the Eastern Cape and the Northwest provinces, accounting for 58% of the total generation capacity registered during that year. This year, we had a breakthrough. The Energy Storage Independent Power Producer Program, Bid Window 1, was the first battery energy storage bidding round to be released in line with the ministerial determination of September 25, 2020. It aims to procure 513 megawatts, or at least 2,052 megawatt hour of battery storage across 5 substation sites. The impact of regulatory reforms, such as the relaxation and removal of licensing requirements, has been instrumental in driving the growth of renewable energy in South Africa, making South Africa indeed a leading country, illustrating how advancements in regulatory regimes can open markets. These reforms have created a more conducive environment for investment, development, facilitating the rapid expansion of renewable energy infrastructure across the country. Overall, the growth of renewable energy in South Africa reflects a transformative shift towards a more sustainable and resilient energy system, with significant implications for economic development, job creation, and environmental sustainability. Why are all these facts and stats important? What is not measured cannot be accounted for. It is important for us to quantify the size of opportunity that is before us as we contemplate innovation in solar solutions and storage solutions for sustainable development. To support local manufacturing of components and parts used in renewable energy and BESS systems, Africa must add gigawatts of renewable energy and battery storage year after year. And we have demonstrated how that is feasible, how that is possible. And with improvements with the regulatory regime across markets and regions, we will be able to create this anchor demand. Creating a demand consistency is necessary to realize this once-in-a-lifetime potential for Africa to re-industrialize using renewable energy. But there are some key market considerations that would enable this, or at least create an enabling environment to realize this goal. Africa must align on quality expectations and standards, and improve local testing and certification for products and components. The lack of quality requirements and standards means that cheaper imports are coming into the continent. Africa must set quality standards to protect the local market. Africa must review and monitor duty levels for imports of renewable energy products and components and battery energy storage system components, and apply and enforce the correct duties on imports. It is important to protect local markets through duty protection and correct application of such duties. Africa must put in place a minerals policy. We've got the mining endeavor taking place next door, and it is interesting what is coming out of there as well. But Africa must put in place a minerals policy for the renewable energy and battery storage value chains. So yesterday I attended the signing ceremony of the Exploration Fund in South Africa, and this fund is set to boost small-scale mining in South Africa and the critical mining industry. It is such supportive interventions that are necessary to ensure that we're able to harness the opportunities that are emerging in critical minerals that are so essential to drive the growth and innovation in renewable energy. The lack of local intellectual property also means that most immediate opportunities for sustainable socio-economic development for lithium-ion value chains, for example, lying downstream, such as assembly of modules, manufacturing casings, and battery management systems. As we are planning to participate both upstream and downstream, we must take advantage of the immediate opportunities that exist by being regionally integrated and globally integrated to bring in technologies from abroad, ensuring that local people can effectively participate and gain the requisite skills to build the capacity required to boost the local market. The rise of solar energy and storage solutions offer the continent a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for industrialization and sustainable development indeed. Increasing industrialization of economies worldwide intensifies energy demands, compelling policymakers to prioritize energy infrastructure development to sustain industrial growth and meet the rising energy needs of manufacturing processes. We can see with South Africa, the constraint that we have had in our energy system has propelled the necessity to revise our integrated resource plan, which is currently out for review, and the review period for comment has now been extended by a month, and all of us should participate. There is definitely an interdependence between energy and industrialization, which necessitates integrated energy policies that consider industrial requirements, environmental concerns, energy security to ensure sustainable economic development and mitigate potential disruptions in the energy supply chain. Energy security, which is our crisis on the continent, more so in South Africa. It's true that the continent will still have 600 million people without access to clean, affordable energy, 900 million people without access to clean cooking energy. So some parts of the continent are suffering from energy poverty, and others are connected to the grid, but the grid is struggling to provide the requisite supply. So we speak to energy security. When we achieve energy security, we can foster socio-economic development and catalyze industrial activities that are necessary to create entrepreneurial opportunities and to create the jobs that we need to curb our rising unemployment. And therefore, energy security serves as the cornerstone for sustainable growth and prosperity. Therefore, leaders must consider the complex and integrated nexus of priorities in designing Africa's energy mix and just energy transition. Each domestic market must carefully consider its socio-economic priorities juxtaposed with the need for climate action policies and strategies. A delicate balance is required to achieve a tailored just energy transition for each domestic market on the continent. The African Union has been very clear. They have a common African position. The African Common Position on Energy Access and Just Transition stipulates that Africa will continue to deploy all forms of its abundant energy resources, including renewable and non-renewable energy, to address energy demand. Natural gas, green and low-carbon hydrogen will play a crucial role in expanding modern energy access in Africa, both in the short and medium term, while enhancing the uptake of renewable energy in the long term for low carbon and climate resilient trajectory on the continent is necessary. So indeed, Africa needs base load capacity to achieve true industrialization. An interesting statement was given by one of the leading engineers at the International Energy Agency. He said, everyone is keeping an eye on their climate targets. But it's true that when you face the dilemma to keep the lights on or to decrease carbon emissions, the choice is to keep the lights on. That was Carlos Fernandez, the acting head of gas, coal, and power at the International Energy Agency. So truly, the game is net zero. The game is not zero generation capacity. In our pursuit of ensuring a secure baseload for industrialization, it is imperative that we extend our focus beyond mere security of supply. We must integrate considerations for a life worth changing and saving, emphasizing the importance of sustainable futures. Beyond meeting industrial needs, our efforts should be directed towards safeguarding the well-being of our planet, fostering a balance between progress and environmental sustainability. This holistic approach ensures not only a stable energy foundation for industrial growth, but also a commitment to preserving the quality of life and the health of our planet for generations to come. As we advocate for base load security and security of supply, we must keep our thinking conscious of the impacts of our actions. Ladies and gentlemen, sustainable development is synonymous with inclusive participation. There is no sustainable development that can be achieved anywhere in the world when certain sectors of the population are not actively participating in economy and generating revenues for a healthy livelihood. Electrification efforts on the continent are lagging. Population growth is soaring without access to modern energy. At this conference today, you're going to deliver and listen to several presentations and case studies covering, among others, the following topics that I will highlight. And as I highlight the topics, reflect on the scale of opportunity that I have already painted, enhancing the efficacy of public-private partnerships, advancing South Africa's green hydrogen economy, a comprehensive approach, addressing the energy access gap in Africa, the role of solar plus storage solutions, assessing workforce skills amidst industry transitions and transformations, overcoming infrastructure limitations and regulatory complexities, finding diverse funding models that work for each domestic market, empowering minds with advanced energy storage systems, alleviating load shedding and driving decarbonization, best practices in off-grid solar solutions for rural communities, harnessing the potential of energy wheeling and trading for regional and socio-economic growth. And think about the Africa Single Market Program, which is set to create the largest trading market in the world. Long-duration energy storage solutions, enhancing grid management and stability in Africa, exploring the ascendancy of renewable energy in Africa, trends, challenges, and opportunities, and many exciting topics that you are going to deliberate on today. I implore you to consider the following lyrics from the legendary Michael Jackson. I'm now exposing how old I am. He says, I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. And no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change. That's from Man in the Mirror. Coincidentally, the cast for his biopic is out, by the way, so I can't wait. It will be on Netflix. But the words in particular, in this particular song, are relevant when we consider what it will take to achieve sustainable development, an intersection of multiple interrelated sustainable development goals. We must be deliberate in the inclusion of women, youth, and persons with disability as co-creators and co-architects of strategies and policies that will drive Africa's industrialization through renewable energy integration. Short, medium, and long-term participation in the energy transition trajectory requires creative, catalytic policy frameworks to ensure an inclusive energy and power sector on the continent. We must be intentional in integrating companies owned and led by women, youth, and persons with disabilities in supply chains and value chains. And it starts with the man and the woman in the mirror. Choose to do difficult things that are paradigm shifting. So tomorrow we are not investing resources to correct decisions we are making today. I wish you successful presentations and deliberations. It is up to us not to waste this once-in-a-century opportunity to power Africa, to accelerate industrialization, and to build inclusive ecosystems. Thank you.